Hello, my friends. It's Roxie Allen. Hey, I'm going to teach a really fast sunflower painting. And by really fast, I mean I've done it a few times. I've taught it a few times already, but I still like to come back later on and add more detail and pizzazz to it. But it'll get you going for sure. So I'm taking a pencil, and I'm going to use a paint pen just so you can see it. Sometimes on the screen you can't so much. So this is a 10 by 12. I'm going to do it on its side, and you could use like a little plate. A 6-inch plate would be sort of ideal. I'm not going to worry about that too much, so I'm just going to mark my spot in the middle, and then I'm just going to give it, let's do something like this. Something like that. Okay. And then this part I will do. So I like to go with lines like this, you know, kind of like 12 o'clock, and say this is 3 o'clock. Then I'm going to have my 1 o'clock, my 2 o'clock, something like that. And if they're a little off, I don't worry about it at all. But that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to take kind of the middle, and I'm just going to make whoosh and just play with that. And they can overlap each other slightly. That is totally fine. Okay. And so whoosh. And it's okay if they go off of the canvas. Anything on these guys is allowed. If you find, hey, I've gotten off track and I need another one, add one. I just did it. Does that make sense? Good. Seriously, that's all you need to do. So take your time, or sometimes I'll save an image and print it out for myself. And that works really, really well. So I'm going to grab, let you finish up. I'm going to grab 2 colors. Oh, and I do feel like if I'm doing this, I want one like that. Yeah. I am going to use a bright lemony primary yellow or chrome yellow. I'm going to use my Cad, it's a light hue, Cad Yellow hue. And then I'm also going to use yellow ochre. And these 3 make up a world of difference, in my humble opinion. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's give myself some white because I don't have any. And I'm going to grab a quick painting to put right next to you. Now, this one's going to be a little bit larger, but it'll work just fine. Okay. So this is a larger version. It's pretty fabulous. And we're going to do that little guy. All right. So whatever purple you have is just fantastic. I'm going to start with a purple lake. And I'm going to add a little phthalo blue to it, or any blue, really. All of those will be just fine. So I'm going to start with the middle because I want that to start drying as soon as it can. So I'm going to go dark purple, phthalo blue, and then teal. And I will probably not get much teal. Probably have to add a little bit later. I'm actually using an angle brush, but the reason I'm using the angle brush isn't for the angle. It's so that, well, because it's well loved. Lots and lots of love. And this paint is dry. That's fine. All right, so I'm going to start right along here. Now you can be all silky and smooth if you want to be. Whoosh. And you guys, I'm so sorry. I can't quite figure out, and I run an art studio and I'm a mom, and I can't quite figure out how to put a template up there for you guys to download. I can do photos, but the template doesn't seem to really work. So I'm just going to show you how to draw everything, and that keeps it simple. So now I'm adding a little blue to that. It's just beautiful. So pretty. And this actually is a cheaper blue. It's literally just called blue. But my favorite is phthalo, which is more, oh, I just love that. It's so pretty. Whoa! So I'll just add some there. But any blue, any purple. And then teal typically is a blue-green mixed with yellow and white. But that, if you don't have one. So this is my green teal. And this was the exact color of my very first mascara a couple days ago. Okay, so I'm just throwing that in there. And make sure you're getting your sides. We don't want any sides that are left behind. Good. So easy, you guys. So I know I'm going a bit fast, but I'm actually teaching tonight, and I wanted to get this up because I was just so busy and life got away from me, and I haven't posted. So I tried to do a couple today. Good. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to just wipe off my brush. And you could use it out here if you want to. And that's probably, I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to get that done, I think. And I'm going to use some similar colors. In this one, you can see I used blues and greens, but this time I really want to stick with more purples and reds. So I'm using my dirty brush. So I didn't have to wipe it off after all. And I am going to grab some blues, but your background can be anything you want it to be. You can go with multiple shades of green. You could go just one shade of green, nothing else, you know, and make it a little more neat and tidy. I like my paintings to feel like there's action, like they're moving, but some people love a nice still life, and that is perfectly acceptable. So whatever makes sense, you're the one that's going to look at it. Or maybe a friend, a gift, you know, think of what they might like. And as I'm going, I'm just getting the top because it's such a bummer when you realize you haven't finished the top. So I'm going to start with the blue, and I'm moving into purples. Yes, beautiful. Okay. Okay. Good. And you can leave it all sorts of fun like that, or smooth it out. And I'm going to do green in these little nooks and crannies here. I think that's a great idea. And I'm going to smooth it out. So I'm going from the center on out. And that is completely up to you. then let's purple. And now I'm going to start putting, I'm going to use a cheapo magenta. It's from the last painting that I did. And it's just this. And literally it just says red. That's all it says on the package. It's like a craft paint. And I'm just going to start throwing it in there. And that is totally up to you. Whatever colors you want to use are beautiful. You could probably even make this look good with gray. Although, why would you? Or peach, that would look nice too. Okay, and I just got to keep an eye. Oh. Okay. You know, years ago, there was a show called, I think it was Cookus Interruptus or Cookus. Anyway. And I'm like, yep, that's quite correct. So, but my kiddos come first. All right. So I'm doing this. And that's pretty good. Yay. So the next thing I'm going to do, oh, make sure you've got your little edges. You can see I completely forgot about the bottom. And you can not worry too much about this. Just get a little color on there. And it'll feel, ooh, so much better. Good. And check the rest of your sides. So important. Okay. Good. Ah, whoops. Oh my. Well, let's see what I can do here. There we go. And I feel like I'm going to wipe this off and just add a little bit of maybe a touch of green in here. That's kind of fun. Okay, let's see if I can get this straight again. All right, well, close enough, I say. And then throw a little more in here. Okay, so I'm going to call that pretty okay right now. We got little splashes of green in here, and that's fine. So the next thing I want to do is I want to cut in here. I'm going to take a little guy, and I'm going to cut in some dark green. And if you wanted to, you could even add blue to it, which is really super pretty. You could add purple to it, but I'm just going to pop in some green. And again, I'm only picky about a few colors. And typically that's the yellow ochre. I actually want yellow ochre for that. And I prefer yellow ochre normally to yellow oxide or anything like that. And I love burnt sienna. If I want a different kind of brown, then I do like a Van Dyke or raw sienna. But, all right, good. So the next thing I'm going to do on this guy is I take Q-tips. And I don't know if you can see this really fun texture in there, but I took Q-tips and went all over this thing. So I'll show you. Oh, I know what I didn't do. How am I going to do that? Well, I got to think about that for a minute. Yeah, okay. I know what I'm going to do then. I'm going to go over this a little bit. I wondered. I'm going to go over that anyway. All right. So you can leave it like that, but I'm going to do a quick change in plans. And I'm going to come around this area like this. Because I just realized I didn't do a fluffy. And that's fine. And yeah, I think that's good. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. So that will be just fine. So what I'm gonna do is go and grab a Q-tip. All right, so I'm grabbing these guys, dipping it in white, and you decide how many you want. Like, I want some in here, and I'm going to just make a nice pattern. Now, if you're worried about doing the pattern, you can start out here and just follow the line. When it starts to get messy, just change it. No biggie. And I've got a little hair on there. I'm going to change-a-roo. And then and it's fine if it's still a little wet. Don't worry about it. but you just want the brightness. If the brightness isn't coming through at all, then you do want to let it dry a little longer. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, good. And that's what I'm going to do. So that, all right, we're off to a good start. So I'm going to take my large brush, and I'm going to go right into some lemony yellow. Whatever that is, dry as a bone. That's fine. So I'm going to do this lemony yellow color. And I'm not taking it quite to the edge. I'm leaving a little gap so that I don't have to worry about colors mingling. And good. And I got a little black in mine. That's fine. If something like that happens, usually it's best just to blend it out. That sort of thing. Hang on, I'm going to grab a little more yellow. Okay. Just need a little more yellow. And for me, this is just a base coat. Whoops. And I start to add white because for me, that color just gets neon so fast. You can see what's going to happen. So just be a little careful about going to the sides. And then I'm just going to let that, and if that happens, honestly, just keep going. Because you're going to see in the end, it's actually really cool. And it only enhanced it. It's not a problem. And I'm pulling this all the way in here because I'm going to make that fluffy and fuzzy, but okay. Good, so we have a little basic idea there. And I'm going to start adding little bits of this really, well, I want to soften this color just a little bit. And I'm adding white and just streaking it on in there. It just calms that color down a little bit and it makes me feel better about it. If that makes sense. Come on. Why doesn't my paint move out of the container? It's interesting. Okay, let's just move a lot of this stuff in there. But I just want to soften that crazy yellow. Yeah. this guy. Good. All right. Now grab a little bit, and this is going to be, we're getting into personal preference here. This color, this kind of cad yellow hue, I'm going to start by adding on the very edge, and you can even alternate with the yellow ochre. This is going to be my fluffy part because I love that fluffy part. Yeah. So between the yellow ochre and the cad, I'm going to do that. And then I know it goes in. But we're also going to pull this out. Okay. So I want to start using this to define my petals a little bit more. So I'm just moving, and you can alternate, like maybe on this one I'll use the cad, on the other one yellow ochre. And these little things in here you can always add paint to. You can pull it right in there. Yeah, that's going to be so fun. Okay, I am going to make a few little, because I pulled this second ring in, and you guys, you got to be fluid when you're painting, you know, because stuff just happens. Just move that out, and I'm just going to make a new little spot. I think is really cute, and I'm going to make a new little dilly-dally in there. And then anywhere else that I decide, okay, that's kind of a fun one. And you don't have to do this, but it does kind of give a little something. Good. Okay. So I want to come in and just start with a little bit of the yellow ochre or the cad, depending on what you like. And this is all kind of up to you. I'm just fluffing it, and I'm working while it's really wet. Just adding little bits, little bits. And working while it's wet gives me that blendy feel that sometimes gets lost with acrylics a little bit. Good. So a little yellow ochre, okay, and then come in with a little cad. See how you can just kind of edge it in, but you'll notice I don't touch it too much, right? Like I just whoosh, and that's fun. Like maybe I want a little something in there, and here. Just let kind of the fun stuff happen. I'm going to pull this out just a little bit, and I'm quite happy with it. And then how about in here? Do I need, oh yeah, I need you. And then this one, just a little bit in there. And that is great. Okay. And if something's too harsh, you can pull it off. But a lot of times it's not too harsh at all. It's just fun. Just really beautiful. Okay. So at this point, I want to start working in this little area here. And mine is still really wet. So I'm going to have to switch brushes. And I'm going to go for something small. I'm going to move this guy out of the way. And I'm going to turn this down kind of on the side. And then what I'm going to start doing is coming in. That's got a good amount, but I want to come in with some yellow ochre, and I want it to be choppy. So let's see if I can pull that close so you can really see what I'm doing there. But I'm just giving it a little dollop of paint, and I'm making sure it's really thick and opaque, okay? And I'm popping that in all over the place. Good. And then I want to do the same thing with that next color, okay, with that Cad orange. And I am really making it thick on that. Can you guys see that, I hope? Where? Let's see. How about right here? See how it's nice and thick? And I'm making a little bit of texture with this. And I like that. So that is how I'm playing the game here. Okay, like right here. Hope you can see that. Good. I just have to get, I have a little side that doesn't have paint. That's fine. Okay, good. So now, whew, got paint peeling off my hands. So now I want to come inside, and I just want to focus on these little guys a little bit. Just touch it up if you need to. Now, if it's too hard to work wet, then wait for it to dry. And I'm going to grab, again, a nice hunk of paint, and I'm going to go bright yellow towards that center there. Does that make sense? I hope that does. But I think it's really fun. I'm just going to dab it in there. And we can always come back and add more, you know, when this layer dries or whatever we need to do. And I've got a little bit of green in there, but I am okay with that. I am fine with that. And I'm just going to grab bits of yellow, pop them on. There we go. So I will make that pop even more with, when it's dry. I'm going to see. All right, so my friends, we're going to need to wait until some of this dries a little bit more, because right now we're just at a stage where it has to dry. So I'm going to give it just a few minutes here. And I might, while I'm playing around, elongate some of these beautiful petals, because I can. And for me, does not bother me that I'm sort of over shooting this. I think it's actually really pretty. Gives a little more movement. And then here. Yeah. That's the ticket. Okay. Let's make sure. What time do we have? Ooh. Oh, I see what we're doing. Okay. So, I'm going to come back in when this is dry. So this is going to be a little weird. I'm going to set it on pause, and hopefully in the studio editor, I'll be able to get rid of such a long pause. But I'm going to write a little note that says, be back when I'm dry. Let's see. Let's see what time. I'll give it 10 minutes, and that should be pretty good. So let's go be back at 5:10 Pacific time, Pacific Standard Time. Pacific Standard Time. All right.